He's a new speaker, new presenter for us, Lawrence Jenkins, and he's going to be talking about Insta360. And if you're not familiar with Insta360, these are cameras that can take a 360 degree, basically just all around you. And instead of editing prior to when you take a photo, you edit it post. Really kind of an interesting and fascinating and fun way to take photographs. So I am going to turn it over to Lawrence, and he can tell us all about it. It's all yours, Lawrence.
I just want to talk about my Insta360 workflow and what I do and why I do it. Basically, I use my action camera, which is a 360 action camera, to go on vacation. It's rugged, it's waterproof, shockproof, and it can be submerged underwater 30 feet for 30 minutes. So definitely can be used to take pictures in the pool and those type of things. I bought my first 360 camera from Apple. It costs $449, and that's what it's still at the cost of. And they also have a bundle for $499.95, which has different accessories that come with it. Again, I use the camera because on vacations, normally when you're on a vacation, what generally happens is you get to take a picture of everybody else except you. And the nice thing about this camera is that you can do a lot of post editing of what you see after the fact. You use keyframes that allow you to stop and basically take a picture of something. And also it has the ability to track a particular object all through it. And since there's 360 degrees, you can track things. The other thing that I like about the camera, it's small. It's able to be put in your pocket and carried with you. It's also easy to hook and light enough to be on a selfie stick and carry the selfie sticks quite a bit in the air without basically having any problems of getting fatigued. It also comes with two pieces of software. It comes with iOS software for your iPhone and your iPad. Now, usually your Mac has more functions than your iPad and iPhone, but in this case, it's totally different. Your iPad has and iPhone has more functions than you have on your Mac. The Mac software is called 360 Studio, and basically here's a caption of it. And then there's one for your, and we'll go over for your your iPad and your iPhone, and we'll go over that in the demo. The other thing that I have to use, because one of the things that it's lacking is the ability to attach different clips together, and I use basically Final Cut Pro. The reason why I use Final Cut Pro is because I can leave it in 360 version and hook it together. The other thing that I use for software is an extension that comes with Chrome browser that allows me to hook the extension. Anybody can do it without downloading the software and actually see my videos in 360 surround. I also use a Synology server, and the Synology server allows me to offload my pictures and movies, and I do not take all of my room on my Mini, which is only 1 terabyte of storage. This has 14 terabytes of storage, and it's mirrored. So in reality, I have a 28 terabytes of storage, and they're mirrored, so there are 14 apiece. And it has a lot of features. It's a little bit more expensive. There is cheaper ways to offload, but I bought this because it has quite a bit of functions. The other good thing about it is that when I go on vacation, a lot of times I go on with friends, and they take their pictures, I take my pictures, and what we can do is we can actually offload those pictures to a shareable directory. And I will talk about that a little later on in the presentation, and everybody can share their pictures at one time. Again, it's really nice to be able to share pictures among everybody without any problems. And it doesn't matter how big or how many pictures everybody took, because we have enough space, more than enough space. So we'll talk about the workflow. Again, I use all those components in my workflow, and we'll go over that on the demo. I'll demonstrate the camera and its functions. I'll demonstrate the software and its features, and we'll talk about the sharing of the videos and pictures before this is over with. Now, the 360 X3 has a 5.7 K videos and pictures, but it sounds better than it really is because you have to split that into 360 degrees. When you split that into 360 degrees, it basically gets a little bit better than 1080p. But I've been able to put it on a large screen TV without any problems. Simply mount it and take pictures. Walk through everything. If you walk through a museum and you see something you want to take, it's got it. If there's something behind you that you missed, it has it. So in post, when you get it back, that's when you can go in and become a director and say, I want to show this, I want to show this, and then I don't want to show that. And all that can be done in post, again, because there's keyframes and the ability to track different things. It came out with the new version of the 360 X3 with a 1/2-inch 48 megapixel sensor, which does a lot better in low light. Not great. I still use my iPhone in really low light or at night because it just gets kind of grainy if it just doesn't do as good in low light. It's getting better. I'm sure once Apple comes out with their 360 virtual reality type thing, it will actually force everybody to step their game up. It has new HDMR mode. It updated that, and stabilization. The stabilization is in par in HDR with GoPro. And I have a GoPro. I use it to dive with and take movies. And so, with any action camera, you're going to have stabilization because you're constantly moving, and a good stabilization. Now, I talked about the 360 and the two lenses. The way the two lenses work is you have 180 on one side and 180 on the side. And in the middle, it basically stitches it together because it makes there's a part of the camera, I guess it's about 5% of that moves that away from the middle of the vertical plane of the camera. So what generally happens is you will basically lose anything that's in that vertical plane, and then because it stitches that together with AI, and you don't see it. And so if you put a selfie stick, anything like that within it, you won't see it, and it makes it disappear. And it allows you to do some great editing with that. Now, that being said, if you only use one lens, you have a 4K wide angle lens that allows you to take 4K videos and pictures. You also can shoot 60 frames per second, which gives me the ability to do slow motion. Again, we talked about the invisible selfie stick and how it disappears. When I first bought my first 360 camera, what happened is I went out and bought their selfie stick because I thought that you had their selfie stick had some magic about it to make it disappear. That's what they kind of allude to in the presentations, but any selfie stick would disappear. With the 360 camera, if you don't have a drone, no problem. Again, that selfie stick and the camera disappears in your post editing. And so therefore, if you take the camera, hold it in the air, it looks like that there's something flying overhead and somebody's taking a picture from overhead or in front. You'll see that in the video. The 360 X3 has a horizon lock, so it always keeps the video level. Even if you turn it upside down, it's going to be level. Do you have any questions? Now what I'm going to do is talk about the commercial side of the 360. Insta360 company. There's a commercial side and a consumer side. The commercial side has professional software, professional hardware, and that professional hardware is tested and used by professional. And as soon as it's cheap enough, it moves it to the consumer side. And so you get a benefit of the commercial side. Again, that's all they do is 360. And it's not like other camera companies that's a sideline. This is all they do. They have a Insta360 Pro 2, 8K. It's $5,000. They also have a 360 Titan, and that is 11K Pro, and it's $15,000. Now, accessories that come with it. We talked about the camera, and now we're going to talk about the new things that were added to the new version of the 360 X3. One of those things are a bigger battery, which is an 1800 milliamp battery, which lasts roughly about 2 hours of recording, depending on, the conditions, how hot it is or cold it is outside. But that's with any battery. The other thing it comes with is a brand new, and this is the biggie, the 2.29 inch screen, touch screen. The other screen was just a little round screen, about as big as the lens that you see there, and it was very hard to basically see anything and to control it. By making this camera touch screen this big, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun to use. Then we have voice control. Voice control is 2.0. It's better. I think it allows you to control your camera, but that's the good thing. The bad news is that when it's 30 feet in or 10 feet in or 5 feet in the air, it's hard for you to control it by voice. So they also supply a remote control for your Apple Watch and your iPhone. And therefore you can control it. With my watch, I can do things like set different settings on it. I can stop and start the recording. I can take pictures. The only thing you can't do is the way you do it with the iPhone is you can't see what you're taking pictures on your Apple Watch. I talked about the lens. The lens protrude. they're 360, they sit out, and therefore most cameras, the lenses do not protrude. So what you have is the ability to lay it down without usually getting it too scratched. With these, they protrude, you're going to get a scratch. And so does 360 recommend that everybody get a lens cap and use it. Just don't get it. So as soon as I take pictures, I take the lens cap off. As soon as I get ready through taking movies or pictures, I put it back on. The next thing is the mic adapter. Again, the mic adapter fits on the side of the camera, which is in line with the camera, and therefore you can't see it. And if you I use a lavalier receiver. That receiver also sits in line with the camera, and you can't see the receiver. So everything that I use is invisible. Now, quick read. Let me tell you, when you're doing 360 videos, you are eating up a lot of space. And if you're on vacation, the last thing you want to be doing is transferring videos from your iPhone or your iPad to do editing. With the quick read, you put the SD card within the Instant 360 quick reader, and it acts like that the SD card is in your camera and not in this quick read. You can reformat it. You can do everything you can do that you could do when it's in your camera, but it copies everything over to that particular SD card. When you get finished, you pop it out, put it onto your iPhone or your iPad, and instantly you can make edits, and you don't waste time copying things over onto your iPad or phone. Much easier, a lot quicker. And yes, the last thing you want to be doing on your vacation is waiting for something to copy. I also use HoloLens. HoloLens is a wireless lavalier mics. It comes with 2 microphones and 1 receiver. Again, that receiver is in line with the camera and you don't see it. Great way to document your movies and pictures without being so far away from the camera. I also talked about my Synology server. And the great part about that, well, beside being able to offload all of those big, huge movies and pictures onto it, and that the one I have 14 terabyte drives, which there are 2 of them. So altogether, I have 28 terabytes, which I mirror, so it breaks it down into 14 terabytes. But beyond that, what else is so nice about it is you can share your photos. So I come back from vacation, I put those into a directory. And when I put those in a directory, I then go ahead and say share. And what it does, it allows me to set some parameters. It allows me to make it public, or I can make it private. I can set passwords, expiration date. I can say you can view it, but I make everybody producers. And so what happens is they can upload their pictures. So everybody takes different pictures of different things, and a lot of people want to share. So what we do is we allow everybody to share in our group when we go on vacation, when they get back, and everybody can see every picture that needs to be shown. And another good thing is, and I'm not sure if I talked about this, but on the Chrome, you can basically do an extension, add it to the Chrome, and everybody can even see the 360 pictures from and share those with everybody. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the 360 website and let them talk about the getting started, and it'll give you quite a bit of information about that, the camera.
3 Quick Start Guide. Unboxing. Open the Insta360 X3 box. Camera assembly. Take out the battery. Insert a micro SD card. Insert the battery with the up arrow pointing towards the camera lens. Make sure that the orange indication marks are covered by the latch to ensure waterproofing is not affected. USB lock cover. Use the charge cable to charge the camera via the USB-C port. The indicator light on the battery will turn red when charging. The indicator light will automatically turn off when it is fully charged. Please use the official Insta360 accessories to ensure the USB lock cover remains accessible for charging.
And that's how you stick the...
Ensure the lock cover is secure. Make sure that the orange indication marks are covered by the latch to ensure waterproofing is not affected. Firmware update and activation. Before shooting, X3 needs to be activated via the Insta360 app. Press the power button to turn the camera on. Select language. Download the Insta360 app. Turn on your smartphone's Wi-Fi and Bluetooth functions. Open the app. Tap the camera icon at the bottom of the app page. Follow the on-screen instructions to activate X3. If there is a new firmware update, a notification will pop up on the app. Please complete the camera firmware update before using the camera. During the firmware update, the camera display will turn off. The indicator light will be solid blue. Restart the camera and connect to the app again. Camera use. The X3 has 4 microphones, located on both the front and back of the camera. There are 3 audio recording modes you can use while recording: stereo, wind reduction, and 360 direction focus. The speaker is located on the side of the body. The X3 has 4 physical buttons: power button, quick button, shutter button, lens button. Press the power button to turn on the X3. Press the shutter button to start or stop recording or taking photos. Long press and slide across the screen for 360 preview. Shooting modes can be switched via tapping the icon at the bottom of the screen, swiping the screen left or right. Tap to switch to single lens mode. After selecting the mode, press the shutter button to use the current option and return to the preview page. Tap tap the parameters at the bottom of the screen to adjust parameters. Swipe left from the edge of the screen to adjust image parameters. Adjust settings such as white balance and ISO. Swipe right from the edge of the screen to access the gallery and review recorded footage. Swipe down from the top edge of the screen to open the shortcut menu. Tap Settings to adjust X3 settings such as USB mode, anti-flicker, screen auto sleep, gyro calibration, etc. App use.
Okay, and I want to stop here with the app use because of the fact that I can, I didn't want to do that. I will be able to...
Basic functions. After connecting,
I'm trying to get rid of this now.
You're just trying to hide the
camera to the app, you can view the shooting preview.
Stop the video and just press the Command H keys.
Okay.
Are you trying to what are you trying to show next?
There. That's it.
Okay.
So now what I want to do is basically show you the software that's on the iPad. So I'm going to go that and I'm going to mirror it. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. And here is the software. And with the software, I can do different things. For instance, I went to Jamaica and I want to kind of go over the Jamaica.
Lawrence, can you pause for a second?
Oh, yes.
Is there any way you can show that iPad full screen? I just realized that you're showing this from a large monitor.
Yes.
And what we see are small.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay. And let me go to let me run up here and let's go to here. Oh, I guess it keep forgetting I got to
is that every time I go on
now I can go in and do my 360. There I am in the video. I'm talking to someone.
You can, after you take all the pictures, you can be a director. So now I'm talking to you. I'll point it over to you and I can hear everything.
And you can do any of these things. Now I can stop it. And you notice there's different functionalities here. I can trim the video. I can go into edit, trim it. I can change the aspect ratio. I guess that's where you can different 16 by 19, 1 by 1, that type of thing with it. I can adjust the colors. This. I can add music to it, depending on what type of music I want to add. I can add different music to it.
We're strumming, we're banging.
Is that music free of copyright?
Yes, it is. And then I can speed up. I can do time slicing and speed up based on how fast you want the movie to go. So you can go into 2 times, 4 times, 6 times on that, which makes it really nice. And then you can add a blur motion if you want to. There's ability to do multi-view, and that's what I'll show you a good example of multi-view. But you can do multi-view where it's over in the corner. You can do multi-view where you're split. And then there's a way, and I have never used this multi-view for use when you're recording in a car. You can do freeze frame, snapshots, face filters, and then you have regular filters that you can bring up, which everybody should be used to of doing normal filtering. You know, some of it's for film, make it look like a film, black and white, those type of things, city view, those are the things that you can do. You can also mark where you want things to start at and where things to stop. And then you can reset everything, and then you can also delete it. And then up here on the top right, there's a thing called export, and it allows you to export it. And I can export it into two formats. I can export it in a flat format that is an MP4 that any camera, any device that does MP3 can view it with. I can also export it as a 360 MP3, and therefore I have to have a special piece of software, either the one that I can use with Chrome as an extension, or I can use any of the software that comes with 360. Okay.
I have a question about export.
Okay.
Can you open that back up?
Yeah.
If you export this out as a flat video, is it distorted?
No, not at all.
So then how does it do that? Because it's curved right now, and if it flattens it out, you could either, like if it were an image, there you go. Good job. So you have to do this before you export it out?
No, it does it for you.
And it keeps the same aspect ratio. It doesn't give you any like white or black areas once you flatten it out?
Nope, it just looks like a regular 4K or less of video.
Okay. Good
now, if you export it as a 360 and you put it into something, then you get these things that look like the HoloLens, where you get two lenses. You actually see the two lenses. So you have to use a special software there.
What special software is that?
That's either the 360 software, Final Cut Pro, or, which has been heaven sent, is somebody created an extension for and I'll show you that, the extension for Chrome. And you bring it up, and there's a little extension at the top of Chrome, and you click on it, and then it asks you where is the film you want to see. You go get it, and now you can use 360, and I'll show you that. And that really makes it, because it was kind of, before it made you always export your 360 into a readable form that you could share with people. But most people, well, a lot of people, I won't say most people, but a lot of people know how to add extensions to the Chrome. You go out in Chrome and say, give me 360 extension. It finds it, clicks it, adds it, and now you can view, anybody can view 360 videos as long as it runs on Chrome, or your platform runs on Chrome. Okay?
It has to be Chrome?
They don't have Safari. They don't have an extension. Nobody's written an extension for Safari.
All right, so it's Chrome or nothing.
Or you can download the software from the Apple Store for 360.
Okay. Okay, all yours.
Okay. What I'm going to do now. As we went through that, I'm going to get out of this. And now what I'm going to do is, well, I guess I can do it this way. I'm going to stop mirroring. Okay. And now I'm going to go to the 360 Studio, which is on the Mac. And then I'm going to go and open up. And then I'm going to pull in these movies. And we're going to look at this movie, which is the movie from Egypt that I took. And this is what you can see in the pyramids. So these are the pyramids in Egypt.
Oh, okay.
And I can look around, look up, and just imagine having a HoloLens or virtual reality lens.
Lawrence, it's hard to hear you while the video is going for the audio, for the clip.
I got everybody.
You got
this one.
I have.
Get it again. I get it again. Get it again and again. And again and again.
So you can see you can see everything. And it would be really interesting to see what Apple comes up with, or Meta already has a lens, and so does Sony, a HoloLens that you can actually throw these videos in and look all around, and you're almost like being there. And I imagine the way Apple does everything, that theirs will be twice as good as everybody else eventually. So I think it'll be really great to see everything. Now, if we go over here, and we'll go through this one.
With alabaster, kind of Egyptian marble. Inside
Again, I can look behind me.
they found
Again, Lawrence, we cannot hear you while the video
complex
sound is
is
going.
made out of diorite. We'll see this at the Egyptian Museum. Why they put the statue here? Because they used this temple as a church. So they wanted to get rid of all paganism and idols and so on. So they hid the statue here, and this was great job because when this way, please.
If you want to mute the audio, then talk, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, one of the good things, one of the things you can see, again, everything around you. And so once it's almost like, I'm going to think it'll almost be like, and you notice that everybody's got masks on because it was right after they allowed everybody to go into Egypt from the when you had COVID. So.
Closer.
Thank you. Take your time. Easy.
Okay, may I have your attention for 1 minute? Please come closer, Habibi, come closer, please. I need the whole family just in front of me for a while. Okay, so now this is straight ahead in front of you. This is the causeway. Okay, the causeway is almost like 1,200 feet long, and it used to.
Again, you can zoom in and move around and see everybody, including yourself, in the video. So if I move on to, we have at, one of the things that you can do one of the things you can do on this, let me delete this out and delete this out. One of the things that makes it nice, you can actually track something, a person, a car, a plane, because you have 360, so you see all of those. So for instance, I can go over here, start this, and let's see, I want to track my wife. So I'll click on this. I'll take this and say I want to track her. So what I'll do is I'll highlight her. I'll highlight her and start tracking her. And what it will do, it will follow her all through the video, no matter where she goes, how far she goes, and all of that type of thing. Again, and once it's finished tracking her, when I show the video, then it will be able to follow her, and I don't have to worry about her getting out of the focus, out of the frame.
So once it's tracking a subject, it seems like it's sort of like ignoring the 360 view, so to speak.
Right. Because and you can move it back into that. So let's say I stop tracking. Now I'm back into this. Now I can go back to here and then start it over again. But it wanted to make sure now you have a bigger view, and I can change it. But what it will do is basically track that person for me, no matter what. And if it's a car or that type of thing, it will track it.
So is it still tracking her and taking a 360 view, but and when it plays back, it shows you everything?
Yes. Now it's playing back now.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And it's following. And you can actually adjust it some more. One of the things that I talked about is keyframes. Okay. So let's say keyframe is where you want to focus it at something. So I can take this and say, what I wanted from now on, I want to look this way. So I can say, keyframe it right here. And it'll allow me to do, if I want it flat, I can have it flat. If I want to do a tiny world, I can do a tiny world. I can do a spherical world or fisheye or flat. So once I say that, then I can go over here and say, okay, what I would like to do is I would like to do it to here. And then from here, I would like to change the view to the C. So I can change the vector to the C. So now I want to go and look at the C. Okay. Now I can do a keyframe here. I got rid of the keyframe. I really didn't want. I want to do a keyframe here. And now it'll do the C. So now if I come back here and start to play it, you'll see that it changes the view to straight. So basically, you're a director of your own movie. You can tell it to go a certain way. You can tell it to stop. You can tell it to turn around. You can direct the movie after post.
Or in
now
post.
Watch. It should turn slowly. I should have made that shorter. But it'll turn slowly toward the ocean. Well, it should. Come on.
So you're basically just walking and shooting, and
Right.
all of this is done in post.
Right. All this is done in post, and it didn't turn. Let's see. It did not turn. Hang on, stop. It should have turned. Let's go here. Okay. All right, let's try it. Let's start here. Let's see if it turns now. There you go. See it turn?
Yes.
So you can direct it to do whatever you want and see whatever you want when you create your, including track individuals or things like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Another little thing that I want, remember I mentioned earlier that if you're doing an interview with somebody, normally you have to have two cameras.
Yes.
Well, I did a quick, just a test thing with a buddy of mine. And here we are, we're going to talk about cars.
Is Porsche 911. And since Bruce Alexander, my sidekick buddy, is familiar with the product because he's driven it. Now, I'm a technology type of guy, and we basically have driven an Air, a Lucid Air, which had all electric with 1,000 horsepower. And I just wanted to ask Bruce some of the differences.
So at this point, can you move that picture in picture
How did he feel
around, or is it static where it is?
All electric.
You can only move it when you create it. You can even move it down here, and you can also put it at the top, but you can't move it now.
So the Lucid,
you can't move it now because it's finished. In editing, you can move it around. It's finished, a finished product now.
First thing you'll notice,
stop the video, please. In post, you can move it, or you have to have that setting before you create the video.
Okay, you in post you can do it. This is past post. This is where I've exported it out.
Okay, all right.
So it's done. But if it hadn't have been, if I had it in post, you can move it around, and you can even make different And I'll show you something else. You can make different frames to it too. But again, this is just to show you that you can have two videos at the same time without any problems. Two versions of the video or two views of the video without any problems. So therefore, if you're interviewing somebody, you can definitely have that. The other thing I wanted to show you is this. I made this, and one of the things that you can have, and we can stop it here, one of the things you can have, and then I'll pick it up, is the ability to do your GPS from your watch or your iPad. I have a watch, and that's what I'm going from my watch. So what I have, I can determine the speed, the elevation, the slope. If I'm going down a ski path, it'll show me the slope of it, how many miles I've traveled, what's the route I've traveled. And I can't see this very well enough, but I'll mess it up. Okay. And then you have the lat and long for the GPS. All that can be done. And I'll continue this. I'm going to the post office.
We can't hear you we cannot hear you with the music playing.
Okay. I'm going to the post office box in our neighborhood. That's new neighborhood. They don't put them back on the sidewalk like they used to do. You got to go to a central place. So you'll notice that it's
Lawrence, are you talking?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I was trying to turn off this. I thought I turned my phone off. Okay, so you see how it speeds up. So you can, it allows you to speed it up. It allows you to do if you look here, you have two views. One of the views you can, if you're in 360 app, this is again, after it's been exported, you can't change this. But when you're in 360, you could actually move this around, the bottom one around, and this would stay the same. Okay.
So
now,
go ahead.
The bottom one is in 360 can move, the top one is static.
So these displays that are showing, can you set which displays you want to show?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But once you set it, it's set.
Okay.
Yeah, once it's set, it's set.
So that's pretty cool. If you're doing a run and you want to show the sites, you can show where you're going and get this latitude, longitude, and how far you've gone information in your video. That's pretty cool.
The other thing is, if you're on a vacation and you are looking at the Grand Canyon, but you want to narrate what you're seeing, you can have the picture of you and then also show everything around with the Grand Canyon. So you can narrate your own video, which is kind of neat too. All right, I'm going to get out of here, last but not least. And again, I talked about Chrome. So I'm going to bring up Chrome. And in Chrome, you notice that up here, there is a 360 extension. I click on that.
Okay, you might have to go to full screen because, again, you're on a large monitor and we see small pictures.
Okay, how about that?
That's a little better.
Okay. I hit the 360. It's up here in the top where all the rest of the extensions are. I hit 360. It comes up and says, what file would you like to use? I click on that. I can go to any of these. Let's go to this. I click on open. And now I'm there.
Hey, Bruce.
They have the software.
Lawrence, we cannot hear you while the video is going.
Nothing. I'm taking pictures.
Okay. Now you can't. What happens is you can use that Chrome. You can use the Chrome to actually view it without having to buy or download any 360 software with the extension on the Chrome.
Is the extension free?
Yes.
Okay. And what does, okay, go ahead.
And so if I decide to send my 360 videos to you, you don't have to download the software from the Apple Store unless you want to for the 360. And then what you can do, you can use this Chrome.
All right. So if you're not using Chrome, then you can't see this, correct?
Not without the 360 software.
Okay. Is there any way that you can export this out from Chrome as a video that we could see?
Yes.
That someone could?
Yes.
Okay.
But it'll be a flat video. It won't be a 360 video.
Okay.
You got to have 360 software to see the 360 video. The other the other thing is you have, what's it called? Final Cut Pro. You can do a 360 software.
Okay. Is Final Cut Pro the only other software you know that you can?
They used to have, excuse me, 360 Studio used to have a player. And you could download the player. I haven't seen it lately, so I'm not sure if they decide not to keep it up because this extension or what. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. All right. All yours.
Other than that, that's about it. I think I'm just about done. I'm ready for questions, and let me get stop sharing the screen. There.
Okay. So Everett Johnson asked about the selfie stick. He wanted to know if you were using a selfie stick. Were you using it all the time, sometime, when, what?
Most of the time I use a selfie stick. If I'm sitting at a table with people and I want to have everybody in a conversation, I still use what do you call it? A mini tripod so that I can, and I just put it in the middle of the table, and then at post, I home it on whoever's talking at the time.
Right. Robert Kennedy, do you have a question?
No, just came back to the...
All right, you were unmuted, so I thought I thought you might have a question. Do we have any questions? Okay.
I can show you the people are asking about the selfie stick, and this
Go
is.
ahead, Dan.
Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you all right.
So this is the selfie stick that he's talking about.
Can you share your screen so we can see you in a larger view?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. So this is what he's talking about. So he has something like this. This is the actual camera. Yes, I have black tape on it. Piece fell off of it. But it, like Lawrence was talking about, it records all the way around it, like 360. And then you screw this on there, and basically it's retractable. So that's the whole side of it. And then you can pull it out. So he could sit here and just walk like this, or he could extend it and walk like that. So when he was walking by the pyramids, he probably had something like that. Am I thinking right, Lawrence?
Right, absolutely.
Yep. So it's just capturing all the way around you, and then you kind of go and post edit. But that's the selfie stick. So it's not like these obnoxious selfie sticks. I wanted to clarify that because, sometimes those selfie sticks can get a little obnoxious. It's really not that bad. So.
Okay, good. All right. Any other questions? All right.
Well,
Lawrence.
it's definitely going to be interesting on the June 5th to find out what Apple produces as a lens, because I've been to different booths and places where people have the HoloLens and the lens that Meta has. And if you want to be able to see 360 where you can look all around, it's there. So that's what they have to use. So it's going to be interesting to find out if this is the camera, that Apple decides to use as their input to everything, or they use their iPhone in some way to make it happen. So it'll be interesting. Or if they even do it at all, Apple, you never know what they're going to come up with.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other questions for Lawrence before we go? Go ahead.
I have one, Lawrence, very interesting. I wonder, because you're not traveling all the time and sometimes you're at home, would that camera, when it's idle, could it also serve as a security camera at home? I'm just curious whether, because of the 360 and the microphone and so forth.
It can. It definitely can. You'd have to put it in the central place, and it would work. It would work good. You could do that. I can see that happening.
Most cameras, then, can you control it when you're away? Like,
no, see, that's the only downside of my security cameras. I can control from my iPad or my phone.
Right, and some cameras you can't leave on all the time because the sensors will get hot, and they will automatically shut themselves off.
With this too. So you probably wouldn't be. It would be a good 360 camera used but a lot of things would keep stopping from getting too hot, and that would say not being able to control it from a distance.
I do have a question. What is?
It seems to me that if you use the camera,
Alan, please stop. Go ahead, Robert.
What is the low light capability? iOS.
It's not.
ISO.
It's not as good as I would like it to be. It's better, but that's why I do most of my night shots with my iPhone.
Thank you.
When I'm on vacation.
All right. Okay, Alan, you have a microphone problem. Please, you speak, but not so loud.
Okay, got it. If you, seems to me, if you use it as a security camera and it's on all the time, it's going to fill up even a four hard drive. I mean, it'll really use up a lot of space if you let it on all the time.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Okay.
Stevie, can I do one other thing that I didn't do?
You got 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll do it in 2 minutes. Screen. Save.
We can't share? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into here. I wanted to show you real quick. It takes me 2 seconds. Okay. I am going in and show you how maybe, unless I didn't type it right. Yeah. All right. Real quick, maybe.
Maybe not. Lawrence,
No, maybe not. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not. Why is this not working?
Lawrence, we're run out of time.
Okay, never mind.
All right. All right. Everyone, can you please unmute yourself and thank Lawrence for his presentation?
Thanks, Lawrence. Great meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. Wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you. I enjoyed everything.
It was just mesmerizing.
Superb.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks,
Go ahead.
Lawrence.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you don't want to miss next week. We'll have Christian Boyce with us. And what I'll do is I'll just end here with, when I went to Arizona, I took my 360, so you can kind of see what you can do with it as well. So we'll just end with this. Once this video, it's a 20-second video, and I'm going to shut the meeting down. So here you go. This was, I just held the Insta360 out of the Jeep with that selfie stick, and it did all of this editing for me automatically. 20-second video of our little road trip. All I did was hold it up. That's what you can do with those things. So Lawrence, it's really quite, as you know, it's really quite amazing what you can do with those. So thank you, everyone. And we'll see everyone next week.